What is up, everybody? We're here again with another huge news and fact roundup of everything we've learned this past week with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. With close to a month left before the game is released, Nintendo is dropping more information than I can even keep track of. So instead of making separate videos about each individual piece of news, we'll be doing more videos like this, which is a collection of everything that has been released. In this episode, we will talk about how the Sheikah Slate was originally meant to speak directly to you as a sort of side character, Aonuma's thoughts on DLC for Breath of the Wild, as well as thoughts on a virtual reality Zelda game, and much more. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos, and be sure to leave your thoughts on today's news in the comments below, as well as anything that I may have missed so that we may use it in a future video. And I'll also be sure to give a shout out and credit to whomever brought this to my attention. And with all that out of the way, let's get started.
Our first bit of information comes from GameCult. Obviously, Nintendo's had a huge push with DLC lately. Mario Kart 8, Smash Bros, Hyrule Warriors, and many other Nintendo games have offered DLC. Nintendo also has DLC in the form of amiibo that unlock extra characters, levels, and more. So when GameCult asked Aonuma about the possibility of DLC in Breath of the Wild, Aonuma says, "This is obviously something that, if it takes place, will take place after the release of the game, so I cannot tell you about it. However, we know the game will have DLC in the form of amiibo, but as for actual downloadable content, fans are split, similar to the debate of voice acting in Zelda. Some fans would love it, while others think DLC would ruin the experience, or just doesn't make sense. But if Nintendo did something similar to what we see from other adventure games similar to the Zelda series like Darksiders and Witcher 3, then I would be more than happy getting additional quests, dungeons, weapons, and bosses."
Up next at number 2, we have an interview between Junk Video and Aonuma on the subject of the Sheikah Slate speaking directly to Link as a companion character. Jump Video asked Aonuma if there were any ideas that became a technical problem or were ultimately meaningless. As I told you earlier, at the base, the game was only planned on Wii U, so we had planned that the gamepad would symbolize the Sheikah tablet. It was abandoned when it was decided that the game would also go on the Switch, since we didn't want the experiences to be different, but the tablet was supposed to talk to you. While you would be playing on the TV, the gamepad would suddenly display information and the tablet would have spoken. But in practice, we realized that it was finally a bit odd that the tablet challenges you during the game, so it is an idea that we abandoned.
At number 3, we have an interview with website GameCult where Aonuma speaks on the difference in developing the Switch and Wii U versions. He says, "It is more comfortable on the Switch since the processor is more powerful than on Wii U, so the level of management of the game was simpler. But I cannot say that I mastered the Switch because the Breath of the Wild for the Switch is a port of the Wii U version. We cannot say that my programming team and I have been around the machine at the moment, but what I can say, that adaptation was very, very fast. It took much less time than I imagined to transpose the game from the Wii U to the Switch."
At number 4, we have an interview between Gameblog and Aonuma. With Xbox One, PS4, and PC giving a huge push to VR games, and the leaked patents from Nintendo showing how the Nintendo Switch could make use of VR, it was inevitable someone would ask about Zelda in VR. This came during an interview with Aonuma and Gameblog where Aonuma replies with, "You know, one of the interests of the Zelda games is to evolve Link and therefore see him grow. In VR, you would no longer see Link, you would see the world from your personal point of view. So I think it would not be very Zelda." Get ready for some bonus news and facts because this response is actually much more interesting than it seems at first glance. When development of Ocarina of Time first began on the Nintendo 64, which was Nintendo's first 3D Zelda game, as only 2D Zelda games existed until that point, Miyamoto's original intentions for the game was to make it a first-person adventure game. Similar to the way most people play Skyrim, found it was harder to keep track of enemies and Link's surroundings, so they defaulted to the third-person point of view that we've all grown to love.
Last up for today's news, Aonuma revealed a lot more information on why Breath of the Wild was delayed so many times. We know Nintendo begins pre-production of their next game when development of a current game is close to being finished. It usually begins with ideals and gameplay mechanics that weren't possible or just doesn't match with the current game. For instance, Nintendo was very limited to what they were able to do on the Wii. Compared to other consoles, the system didn't have nearly as much power, which means the draw distance in Skyward Sword wasn't that great. So the art style they came up with was based around what the Wii could do. The art style allowed objects in the distance to blend in with the background, instead of disappearing completely like in most games, and it made the one-to-one motion controls look more fluid. Another ideal they wanted to implement into Skyward Sword was a huge overworld that connected the different areas. After Skyward Sword released, this was one of the fans' biggest complaints. So one of the first ideals brought to Breath of the Wild was brought over from feedback of Skyward Sword, which is probably why we see Breath of the Wild with one of the biggest overworlds many of us have experienced, especially on a Nintendo game. Skyward Sword was released in 2011, so that means from the beginning of pre-production until the release date, Breath of the Wild had up to 6 years of development, and it was delayed for 2 or 3 of those years. So it makes sense one of the most common questions asked during interviews is why the game was delayed so many times and what problems Nintendo came across to cause such delays. I could easily see Aonuma getting irritated by being asked so many times and just defaulting to the same answer for everybody, or at least I would. It just gets annoying being asked the same thing hundreds of times every time you sit down. But it seems he actually has a different answer, or at least a variation of the same answer for everyone who asks. During one of the most recent interviews, Juke's Video asked, "We have been looking forward to this Zelda game for 5 years. What causes this development time? Did you encounter any particular difficulties with the open world? How did the development take place?" To which Aonuma replies, "I would not say that from a technical point of view it took a lot of time. It's just that the development choices we made were deliberately time consuming, as it was actually the first time that we had such a vast world in which one can move naturally. The ambitions we had for the use of this world were such that we needed a model of realization that was quite different. As always, different teams take care of different parts of the development of the game, but it is not possible to move each one of its side when making an open world like this. If someone touches something and it changes the part that someone else is doing, this makes it so that we lose an incredible amount of time as one discovers more problems as the game progresses. We really advanced step by step. We set a goal, we said to ourselves, we will advance this game until then. And once we're there, everyone stopped working, whether it's animators, programmers, graphic designers. For a week, everyone stopped working and played. We noticed all of our impressions. Here's where this changed, causing this to happen. The first change caused the second thing to change. And it means that here, a third thing is also changed. For a week, everyone was playing, everyone was recording their impressions, which he had noticed. Once everyone had played for a week, we moved on to the next stage, and everyone was at the same point of information on the progress of the game. Like a cave you couldn't discover, and so on. We were always all at the same level of information. We had to regularly take a week to stop production, and everyone could play the game and upgrade to fix these issues. What's up everybody, really quick before we get to the usual end slate, I wanted to mention a quick update for this channel. I'm trying to bring together a few new series other than the usual discussions and news videos that we do. I would like to bring quality reviews, let's plays, do more live streams, a top 10 series, and more analysis videos. However, to do this, I need your help. Between being a new father, YouTube, and my real job, I don't have the time to work on all of these videos. So I would like to bring on other people who can help out from time to time, like Sasizi and others who have helped host and edit videos before. To make this all happen and to get awesome rewards for yourself, head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse where you can get shoutouts and videos, join our group Discord and chat with us whenever you want, be a guest on some of our videos, and much more. I want to thank you all for watching this video. If you liked it, give this video a like and share it with your friends. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you don't miss out on future gaming news, theories, rumors, and discussions. Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on how it could be improved. Your feedback is the most important part of bringing the quality of content on this channel to be the best that it can be. I would like to take this time to give a huge thank you to this month's Patreon supporters, Jonathan, The Edge Network, Magic Tech Review, John Frank, and Harris Priest. This video was made possible by supporters on Patreon. If you would also like to support this channel, head over to patreon.com/GameOverJesse where you can support this channel as well. Rewards vary from having your topic featured on a future discussion, seeing videos early, joining as a guest on a video, shoutouts, and having a custom avatar similar to my own drawn of you to match any video game or anime art style that you would like. Mine is of myself as Link, but you could choose to have yours any way that you would like. Finally, I would like to thank my friends CS Guitar 89 and Nomo Designs for providing the music and artwork for this video.